Well, I like to start off with that question. So what does a rainy day have to teach us about manifesting and the way to lean into trust and knowing and believing that what you want, your desires, your manifestations are absolutely on the way to you or for you and available to you, that they will not pass you by. So basically, the lesson is the thought that I was having or that I had and shared is that a rainy day is important, or it teaches a lesson about manifesting, because one of the key components of manifesting, whether it's a physical result, whether it is a thing, an experience, a feeling, even, because I talk a lot about setting intentions to manifest the feeling that you want to be experiencing and have that lead to the actual results and activities and things that match and support that feeling. So whatever it is that you are manifesting, believing, trust, and faith, just this knowing that it's coming, is a key component. Because if we're always doubting, then that's the energy that we're focusing on. And I will admit that when I first started learning about manifesting and making changes in personal development and creating a life and things that I want, as opposed to just experiencing life by default, that is one of the aspects that I struggled with, like this trust and faith and knowing, and instead of wondering and doubting and trying to pinpoint or know exactly when and how and timing and all that stuff, which is really the thing that also, like, focusing on those things holds them back actually more. It does the exact opposite of what we're trying to accomplish. So the way that, I guess, the thought that I had that inspired the story that I shared, or the reel, and then this episode, is that when it's raining, whether it's a day, several days, a rainy season, and you can also apply this to weather, like if it's more severe than here in Los Angeles, very cold winter temperatures, or just the winter season, because I did live in the Midwest for 12 years. So I do understand what that is like just this never ending feeling like winter is never going to end, or that the warmer temperatures are not going to come, etc. So whatever it is. And so when it's ongoing and you get this sense like, man, is this ever going to end? Or when is it going to end? Right? Well, if we think about it, we know that the rain will stop. We know that it's going to stop raining at some point. We know that the sun is going to come back out. And so we may not know the exact day or the exact moment or how it's going to stop. Like if it's just going to stop suddenly and that's it. If there's going to be kind of like this back and forth of showers and sprinkles with intermixed with sun. We don't know if it's going to happen at night, what time at night or in the morning, or so just, we don't know the exact moment, but we know that it is going to stop raining or the weather's going to clear up. And we also know that when we can't see the sun because of all the clouds, because of the rain or the fog or whatever it is, we also know that the sun is still there, right? We know the sun is still in the sky. We know it's doing its job and it's daytime. We can see that it's daytime, even though it's cloudy. So we know that the sun is there, even though we are not physically seeing it or not feeling the heat, the warmth of the sun on the rainy and overcast and cloudy days. So that's the very basic component. That's the very basic lesson. Applying and looking at your manifestation as the sun or as the end of the rain, or however you choose to look at it, and knowing that it's coming. And in the meantime, instead of obsessing about how long it's taking, or how miserable it is, or trying to pinpoint on the radar the exact moment and all those things. Just, okay, let me live life. It's raining right now. I'm going to live life prepared for the rain, ready for when it does stop raining, and making plans even for when it does stop raining and what I'm going to do. And in the meantime, I'm just going to live my life and have my umbrella, or wear my rain boots, or plan indoor activities instead of outdoor activities. Have backup plans for outdoor activities. So that is the concept. That's really the crux of what I have to say, is taking that certainty of knowing these things are going to happen, and applying that to whatever it is that you have set an intention for, or that you are manifesting in your life. Whether it's, like I said, a result like a job promotion, or a job, or your own business, or something that, like what am I thinking of? Like something like a house, something tangible, a house or a car or a vacation, experiences. All those things, they are on their way to you. Just knowing that they're coming really eases off the pressure and allows you to live life and experience it and be like, oh my gosh, look how it showed up. I had no idea that this was the moment, or that this is how it was going to play out. And then that also shifts your energy from focusing on what you don't have to focusing on the adventure of it, if you will. It will focuses on, hey, how is this going to happen? Maybe making a game out of it and seeing how the manifestation plays out, because there's so much that we don't know, but a lot of times we hold it back because we think we need to know, or we just want to know exactly when and exactly how and how it's going to play out. So think about, keeping with this weather metaphor or this weather example, think about weather people, right? Like the weather forecasters. It's almost like a joke, or I don't know if joke is the right word, but what would be equivalent to a meme, right? Like we always say, like, oh, weather forecasters are always wrong, but they never lose their job. Or it's, the only job where you can be wrong all the time and not get in trouble for it. And the thing about that is that they're really not wrong all the time. They're wrong some of the time. Maybe sometimes they're wrong more than they're right, but really they're not wrong all of the time. But that's the thing that sticks out, right? That's the thing that we choose to focus on, is how often or when weather forecasters are wrong about the weather. So the reason I'm bringing in the weather forecasters is because a lot of times that's kind of, I think, how we look at ourselves. When we think we know how things should play out, or we think we know the steps and the timing, and we try to predict exactly when and how and who's going to be involved. And really what we need to be focusing on is not the when and the how or the prediction, but how it's going to feel. Like, how excited will you feel when you are able to go outside with this rain and weather example? And how good will it feel to breathe in that fresh air? My dad and I went for a walk last time after it stopped raining, and he even said the air smells so clean, right? So looking at the things that you can enjoy along the way, and I derailed myself a little bit from my tangent there, because my notes, I didn't scroll them up fast enough. But the weather forecasters do their best based on the instruments and the technology or the research or whatever it is that they do. But I included that in my example today because I started thinking, what if, even if we're not doing it intentionally or on purpose, what if we kind of look at ourselves like the weather forecasters and we beat ourselves up right? For not manifesting a thing or not achieving the result in a set amount of time or at the time that we thought it should happen in. And we look at that prediction or that expectation and we beat ourselves up for it. And that also has the exact opposite effect of what we want. It pushes our manifestation off a little bit. It doesn't erase it. It doesn't say, oh, well, just because she's focusing on the negative, it's not coming. If it's something that you want, you will have it. It will be for you. And so it just kind of holds it off a little bit. So it's one of those things that it made sense, but then I wasn't sure how to tie it together, but it might resonate with someone. So I've learned to also just go with it and include the information or whatever it is that I'm thinking about. And so what if we're looking at ourselves as failures, or we're looking at ourselves as those weather forecasts, like, oh, we always get it wrong. We never manifest in the time frame that we should, or that I expect it to be in. And we have that negativity, that looking down on it. It's like, oh, it's never going to happen. I've never been able to successfully manifest anything quickly or in the time that I think that it should happen or that is appropriate to happen. So what we focus on is the thing that we get more evidence of, right? So that's the weather forecast. That's the story that I have for you guys. They do their best to predict, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong, but we always seem to focus on how often they're wrong. And what if we stopped doing that to ourselves and looked and said, hey, this is the best, this is what I know to do. And as long as I keep doing it, and as long as I keep learning and taking the next step and looking at the lessons that I'm learning, it's coming. It's on its way. It's a process, and it will be exciting and fabulous and wonderful when my manifestation shows up. So let's see, where else am I going here with my notes? Yeah, right. So what if we have this belief that the weather forecasters are always wrong, even though they aren't? We're actually working against ourselves by trying to predict exactly when and how. So that's what I actually wrote up. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense. And then the last part that I want to touch on with this weather example is the concept or the idea of waiting, right? Waiting until the rain clears, because I'm just going to pump this or go with this example the whole way through this episode. Waiting until the weather clears, or waiting until it's sunny to have fun, or to go do something, or to make plans of any kind. And that's also what we sometimes catch ourselves, or what we often do with our starting to go for our dreams, starting to take the actions, and starting to move in the direction of the things that we want. We wait until, or we tell ourselves we're going to wait until the right time. We're going to wait until we feel ready. We're going to wait until we get the sign. The sign is that you have the desire for whatever the result is, the manifestation, the dream, the goal. That is your sign. The fact that you want it is your sign from the universe. It was placed on your heart for a reason. And so I also wanted to touch on that. Instead of waiting, start in whatever way you can. And tying it into this weather comparison, yes, it might not be as comfortable, or maybe you can't go out and walk if you're, in the rain. Like my dad and I don't go walk when it's raining, but there's other things we can do. We could do like videos, sometimes like those walk at home videos, or I incorporate like little dance breaks and dance videos and exercises. So other things instead. And that goes for whatever it is that your dream is. If it feels so far away, like the end of winter, or like the ending of the rain, what can you do to start now? Can you start preparing? Can you start taking action in a different way than you thought you would when the time is right? Why not just start in whatever capacity that you're able to start right now, and not let all this time go that you could actually be making progress? And so don't put it off. You might not be able to take the exact step that you thought you would be starting with, but you can start somehow. There is something that you can do to start the momentum, to start the process. Take one action and see what you get back, what information, what result, what non-result. Because if you get a non-result, that's still information that is useful, and be like, oh, okay, that didn't get me a result. Let me try this instead. So it feels like it's not super deep, but I think that's really good, because a lot of times I have to remind myself that when I was learning about this stuff, the simple examples are really the things that help me. And so I like to try and teach with examples and share them to help it make sense. So know that whatever your desire is, whatever you're manifesting, it is for you. It is coming, just like the rain will stop. So yesterday when I made the story or the reel, it was raining. Today, it's not. Today it's sunny and clear and beautiful. And so that's the exact same energy or the exact same type of thinking that I invite you to start applying to whatever it is you're manifesting. When you catch yourself saying, oh my God, when is this going to happen? Those are the moments that you need to intentionally reframe that energy and those thoughts. Like, oh man, when is this going to happen? It's taking forever. And like, you know what? It's going to happen the way it's supposed to, in the time that is perfect and best for me. And it's coming. So whatever it is, and that's a good practice. That is a good exercise to start implementing. Simply learning how it is that you can shift your energy from that, oh man, to, okay, I'm still on the way. It's still on the way. I'm still taking steps. I'm moving in that direction. And sometimes maybe it's affirmations. Other times, maybe it's simply doing something, like actually doing something physically, like exercise or walking or dancing or lifting something. And it doesn't have to be weights. There's other, lifting boxes or whatever it is that helps you kind of shake off or shift out of that energy. And I also invite you to not beat yourself up when you catch yourself having those thoughts or saying those things or, catching yourself in that energy. We all do it. We're humans. We're not robots. So we will have those moments where we're like, man, but the more practice and the better that you get at catching yourself, that's really where the magic is. Learning how to get yourself back or closer to the way you want to feel and out of the feelings, the thinking, the self-talk that is not helping you. That's the work. That is the lifelong work. Just noticing when you get off track and doing what you can to get back as soon as you can. And knowing that whatever it is you want is for you and it's coming, even if you can't see it and it feels so far away, it's still for you. It's still coming. So that is a nice, short, and sweet example or story for you guys this week. And I will be back next week with another topic or another, manifesting concept, manifesting me topic to talk about. And in the meantime, I invite you to head over to the Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group, because I have the next free live call that I have is for the full moon coming up. I think it's the 24th, maybe the 23rd. I don't remember the date, but today is February 21st and it is Wednesday. And so I believe the new moon is on Saturday, but the call I know is on Friday. And I have a new moon and full moon call in there. You can ask questions, learn some information, and start making manifesting with the moon a regular practice for yourself. And you can also find the live on the Blue Moon Manifestations YouTube channel if Facebook is not your thing. So let me just make sure there's nothing I left out. Yes. Know that it's coming and stop waiting and putting it off. Those are the two key messages that I want to leave you guys with today. And I will talk to you guys next week. Take care.